Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to get this all set up so you can talk to me while I'm in game and talk about deck construction. Alright. You guys should be able to talk to me now if you want. Alright, tonight I'm going to be talking about and playing Valgavoth, the Terror Eater. This guy's kind of unique. He's like Tergrid 2.0, and there's some give and takes with this commander. Obviously, the CMC is a lot higher than 5. Costs 3 more to cast. Actually, 4 more to cast. Correction. And that's one of the downsides. One of the plus sides, though, is whenever a card goes in your opponent's graveyard, it's replaced with an exile effect, and you could cast those spells by paying its mana cost and life. Now, there's another trade-off in that aspect too. Tergrid lets you put stuff into play for free based on if you made someone sacrifice a card or discard a card. The trade-off with this is you're paying life, but you cast a much wider net, and you force people to give you every single thing that hits their graveyard. That exile effect is a little bit of a two-edged sword, and I'll get into that a little bit. But one of the sweet abilities of this guy is he has a particularly powerful ward effect, where if someone was to target this with a single target removal spell or whatever, it forces that player to sacrifice 3 non-land permanents, and that's pretty significant. It's up there, if not worse, than Sauron. And it's because it specifically says non-land permanent. So before the resolution of that single target removal spell, you'll get 3 permanents into that pool of exile cards for you to cast later down the road, if not in that same turn. So also, you have to follow timing restrictions. So if you were to, say, exile a counter spell, you will always have access to that counterspell, which is pretty sweet. So if someone tries to kill this, not only do you make them sacrifice 3 things, but you could use that counterspell at instant speed to protect your dude. I don't have much to say other than a lot of like piloting and just general deck design advice. This is just strictly a mono black control list, and you only need to focus on the basics, which is really great for new players. Instead of focusing on a lot of synergy, you just double up on the removal, double up on the ramp, and you double up on the card advantage. And hopefully you generate enough value from your commander being in play and stealing other people's stuff. It's more of a theft deck. Most of the synergy in here is just gaining you life, so you have life to spend to cast other people's stuff. I'll go over particular things if it stands out in this deck. Bubbling Muck is probably going to be one of your best 1-drops because it makes your mana tap for an additional black. You have 32 swamps in this list. It's probably the highest amount of swamps I've ever played in a single mono color, just basics I've ever run in a single color deck. And the reason why I did that is Valgavoth is pretty darn expensive as a card, so like I skimped on the lands, save costs there, and I devoted more to like the other pieces to make this deck function better. And the nice thing about monocolored decks is you don't need a lot of investment to begin with, because you're not needing to fix your colors. Prism Ring, whenever it enters the battlefield, you choose a color. Whenever you cast a spell of that color, you gain a life. Hopefully you are playing with other people who are also in black. because obviously you choose black for yourself. It's the most color you could manipulate easily because your whole deck's made out of black. But if you cast their spells, you mitigate the cost of paying life into playing their spells. Font of Agonies, this is a really sweet synergy piece. It's also a removal. Whenever you pay life, you put that many blood counters on this. You pay 2, remove 4 blood counters, and you can destroy a target creature. And you rack up those counters so fast by paying life, because you pay life equal to the CMC. So if you, just from casting one spell that costs 4 mana, costs you 4 life, this gets 4 counters. Remove them all, kill something, and then the card you kill with this goes to exile from your commander, and you can cast it with him as well. So like, it's a very brutal removal spell. Accursed Marauder is something I kind of want to talk about. Normally, I don't really like edict effects unless you really know your lobby. And since I'm playing with a bunch of randoms online to showcase the deck and see how it performs, that's probably not the wisest thing to do. But Curse of Marauder's been around since MH3. I haven't had a chance to play it, nor have I played. Let's see, Tithing Blade. They're both really significant edict effects because traditionally edict effects makes you sacrifice something of importance to yourself. Both the Marauder and this is a 2 mana edict effect that is very little or no consequence to yourself. These are only 2 for that efficiency of 2 mana that does it that effectively. So if you haven't tried them, highly recommend you give it a shot. Personally, I haven't given them a shot, and I just wanted to test it out tonight. But I did explain why they're significant and why you should play them. Demon's Horn. This is another synergy piece of gaining life. Whenever you cast it's any player casts a black spell, you gain a life. So black is a really popular color. It's the most popular color. I think that's a pretty safe thing to say among Magic players. The likelihood of someone else playing black is quite high. Nowhere to Run, because this is new from Duskmourn. Came out a couple of weeks ago, and it neuters ward and hexproof effects asymmetrically. It doesn't affect yourself, so your Valgavoth will still trigger when they target your stuff, but your opponent's stuff loses all their ward abilities and all their hexproof abilities. So makes your removal more consistent, makes it so your opponents can remove each other's stuff. Really sweet card I wanted to try, and it has flash, so if you don't know what flash is, you play it at instant speed. And if you know me, I like to cast spells at 2 mana or less and at instant speed, because you can lose if you can't interact on the stack, and that comes up more often than you think it does. Just think back to all the games that you've played and lost, and like thought to yourself, man, if this spell in my hand was at instant speed, where would I be right now? Welcome, Moto Grader Dude. Glad you're watching. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Let's see. Endless Atlas. I don't really play this a whole lot either, but since I'm in 32 basics, it made sense to play it. I don't like these kinds of card advantage pieces where you see one card a turn, but because I'm on a budget of $100 or less, we have to make do with what we can get, and I want to see if I need it or will enjoy it, because like, it's one thing to like count this in your card advantage slot, but like, You still need a lot more because most of the cards in your deck is going to be trading 1-for-1. But the nice thing about stealing other people's stuff is that means they'll have to commit their own pieces. They're destroying their own pieces. So it's like a 2-for-0 for your opponents. So you could really rack up some serious value in terms of trading 1-for-1. Like there's no... In that scenario, you're trading 1-for-2 pretty consistently with your single target removal spells. And that's why having a lot of single target removal spells in a control deck works, is you have some way of taking advantage of it. Traditionally, when they control decks play single target removal spells, they have a way of getting them back and replaying them over and over again. I'm kind of segueing that strategy in a just slightly different direction where I have no intentions of getting that spell back, but I'm forcing people to trade with their own cards. So it's just simple like math of I'll have more cards at the end of the day than you do, and that should be enough to win you the game. Nuclear Fallout. Got some good news. If you didn't know and you play Moto, you could pick up the Fallout decks for a limited time on Moto right now. I picked mine up yesterday. I bought all 4 decks. It's a pretty penny. It was like $170 after tax, but it beats buying all unique cards in singles, because if you try buying them all in singles right now, you'll end up spending at least double that amount. So I have this in my collection now. Works great in this deck because -6/-6 removal spells, you can manipulate these so your commander survives, because your commander has such a huge stat block. You'd only have to sink 6 into this and everything gets... Sorry, let me go back to the card. You'd only need to sink 6 into this because X would be 4. Everything gets -8/-8. Each player gets X rad counters. The rad counters are also particularly special because it's a mill trigger, and that also feeds into Valgavoth's ability of stealing people's stuff. If you can make people mill pretty consistently, then that's just more fuel for your game of stealing their stuff. Now, the only downside about these like mill cards is they're all incredibly expensive. I wish I could include more, but because of the Fallout deck that this particularly came with, the Mothman, ironically they're both moths. Mothman's all about milling things, and ever since that deck came out in paper, every staple mill card has doubled or tripled in price, and that puts them out of our price range of including them in this budget deck, which is unfortunate. Like, I'd love to be playing Mesmeric Orb, and especially Alter Dementia would be really great in this deck, because sacking Valgavoth, making someone mill 9 is pretty great. But again, we'll make do with what we have. Exsanguinate's in this list. It's a black staple, but I think it's particularly powerful in here because I'm electing to choose big mana because I like the versatility of big mana. I could do a reanimation package, but I'm not running a lot of creatures. I'm only running 9 in this list, so I'm not going to get a whole lot of value out of those except for targeting my own commander, and if my commander's dead, then that's also not a good thing. But like, big mana could always be used for something else, and this is just one of those spells where it could be used somewhere else. Heartless Summoning is a pretty fun pet card of mine. Whenever I have a big expensive commander, I play Heartless Summoning. Makes your creature spells cost 2 less, but your creatures get -1/-1. I don't care about that. I care about making it so I can cast this as fast as possible. Twilight Prophet kind of pulls double duty, card advantage, and drains your opponents and you gain a bunch of life. Cryptgrass is pretty special. Um, let me roll down. Okay, Group Gas is pretty special, mostly because, again, it pulls double duties of making your swamps tap for double, and then it has an extort ability, so whenever you cast a spell, you can pay an additional black into it. You drain each person for 1, and you gain a life per life lost. So if there's obviously 3 opponents like you do in traditional commander games, you're netting yourself 3 life, and you're giving yourself more life to cast more of your opponent's stuff. I guess I'll talk about Invoke Despair a little bit, because I'm running every effect that lets you hit enchantments. This is just one of them. Black used to be notorious for being unable to deal with enchantments, and lately that is not the case. I think there's enough support where black isn't completely useless at answering that permanent type. Now we just need black to answer artifacts, because that's still pretty awful. That is terrible. Normally, I'm not a big fan of mono black because of how pigeonholed you are in your ability to answer problems, and usually because of that Achilles heel that always comes up, where it's the downfall of our games. And I actually don't win very many games when I play mono black, and it's either a combination of the popularity of the color and all the staples being incredibly expensive to make the deck function, because monocolored decks are supposed to be able to do one thing really well, and when I introduce a dollar cap, I no longer do that one thing really well, and I lose an advantage that you would normally get in a monocolor deck, where you're just trying to do your own thing and ignore everybody else. And in this strategy in particular, I am not trying to do my own thing, and I am interacting with everybody else. So I'm kind of doing the exact opposite of what you want to be doing. But I digress. Or the other thing is I suck at building mono black decks. That could be the reason why that I don't win very often with mono black, but we're going to try tonight and change that all. I'm hoping that Valgavoth is on par with things like Tergrid and the Thrawn Physician, but those are the only 2 black commanders I've ever been successful at playing and building, and that's purely because of their power, I think. I don't think it has anything to do with construction. I normally don't struggle against any other mono black commander, if I'm being completely honest. Free Merchant of Asphodel is staple for getting a bunch of life. I don't have a lot of black permanents, I'm realizing. Most of them are colorless, but because you gain life based on the total amount of life lost, you still rack up a good chunk of life. Sorry, talking a lot. I moved to Minnesota, and the air is incredibly dry. It's the winter months, or at least fall. And I haven't lived here in 13 years, and I'm not used to how dry it is. Let's see. Gauntlet of Power. This is a great monocolored card. You can play this in any monocolored deck, and it's going to do some work for you. You choose a color, and creatures showing color get +1/+1. That's not the best part. The best part is your basic lands tap for double, essentially. Mags to the Coffers. You can tap a black for each swamp you control, so generates you a ton of mana. And I think I might have skipped a card. Yeah, I skipped over my 3-drop, so I'm just going to go back here and talk about those first. Fire Shrieker. Your commander's a 9/9, and you give it double strike, and you could potentially one-bop someone if you get at least 2 more power on the Moth. There's a couple ways you could get there passively, but that's still a good chunk of life that you gain. Hit someone for 18, gain 18 life, play a bunch of stuff with no repercussions, and that's why it's in here. Oppression is great in this list because you're forcing people to discard with every spell they cast. So even when they discard stuff, it goes to exile. You could cast it from that pile. Plus, the spell they're casting is going to their graveyard too. If it's like a one-off effect, like an instant or sorcery. So you get 2 spells instead of just 1. Necrodominance. This is a new card I wanted to try too. I'm genuinely surprised how cheap it is for $4.50. If you don't know what it does, you skip your draw step, but your max hand size is reduced to 5. Those are the 2 drawbacks. But you pay any amount of life, and then on your end step, you draw equal to the amount of life you invested. And you just make the difference of 5. So like if I have 2 cards in, I choose 3. File 3 cards in my hand, not forced to discard, and then I have a full grip again. Well, you know what I mean, pseudo full grip. Explorar Lens. This is the other monocolored card that I want to mention. You imprint a basic land, like our swamp, and then whenever you tap the land of the card that's imprinted, it taps for double. Now, this is double-sided. This affects your opponents as well. So, if you have snow-covered swamps lying around, you might want to do that instead, because the wording on this does care about that. If you exile a snow-covered swamp and people only have swamps, their swamps won't give them anything. Curtain Skull. It's a 2-for-1 removal spell. Has Undaunted and gets cost reduction based on how many opponents you have. Cage Sun, it makes it so your lands tap for double and gives your thing a stat block or increase. Staff of Eden, this is a new card that fits quite nicely in this list. I need to be steal a legendary permanent from someone's graveyard and put it under your control. And then you could tap it to draw a card for each permanent you control but don't own, i.e. you steal a bunch of permanents from your opponents with your commander. This thing should draw you a ton of cards. Citadel for card advantage, insanity. Arcana Revenant for big mana. And Crick, the Son of Yawgmoth. He lets you get around the little black symbols in the top right corner of your casting costs. Instead of paying a black symbol, you pay 2 life. So you can effectively skip 3 mana and deploying your commander, and majority of your deck, it's only 50 cents to play, monetary wise, so couldn't ignore it. And that's pretty much it. Really quick and short to the point. Anybody of you watching have any recommendations? Speak now or forever hold your peace, because I'm gonna start picking up the cards and playing online. I wonder how much I'm going to be spending tonight. I don't know if you guys are Godzilla fans, but name the deck Mothra. Whoa, I can't see anything. Wonder if it's because I have my VPN turned on. It's weird I can't pick my deck image, but I'm not going to be looking at it anyways. To clear my wish list. only have to buy 9 cards. That's pretty sick. I have to pay 46 cents. Also nice. Weirdly enough, I actually like this gold and purple version. The white, black, and red version is like 120 bucks, and I don't know why. When the color scheme on this just looks better to me. I think everything pops really nicely. Versus like the white on black, it's hard for me to make out an image. I don't know, that might just be me though. I'm doing good. How you doing, Iron Eyes? I don't know if we met before. Yeah, we can start delivery. I think I have 46 cents in my store credit, so I don't have to buy any tickets. Wasn't printed as much. Oh yeah, I think that's probably the reason too. But like in terms of desirability, there must be some kind of like texture to it. Like it has some kind of verticality in the line work. Oh, what's up? Well, I'm glad you're here. I do have a lot of stuff, and I play pretty much a different deck every week. I do take recommendations, but right now, let me open up YouTube. I'm just going through the Duskborn commanders that I had the most interest in, and a lot of my members took a vote, and there was a 3-way tie between Winter, Valgavoth, and Lord of Pain, and I just had to pick one. I did Winter last week, and that was a smash hit. I crushed people pretty badly. I managed to beat an opponent that got Omniscience down and a Lich's Mastery, and like normally when someone resolves either of those, the game ends, but I managed to beat someone who got both of them down. And it was just a stack slug deck. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I'll have to check out your list, see if I missed anything. Normally, I stream Fridays, and then I dissect the videos and trim them down to be more digestible for my other viewers that don't want to watch for 2 hours. And I make really short videos. They're normally like the deck construction and gameplay after I do my editing. It's somewhere between 8 and 15 minutes long. Oh, nice. Yeah, Villas probably drew a bunch of cards, and you probably punched him for a ton of damage. If I had to guess how that went down. Yeah, Winter just punishes really cheap decks that like to draw a bunch of cards. Sure, that's fine. I'll take a look at it. Mothra, where are you at? Needlehead? Unfortunately, I'm not the most versed in Duskborn because I just moved to Minnesota, and I haven't been as closely involved with Magic as I normally am, so I have to actually look that card up. Oh yeah, this guy's pretty cool. He was out of my budget when I built the deck. Most of the decks I build on here are $100 or less. This list is $95. All right, this is ready. Let's play a game. I like how this guy's lobby says bad players only. Looks like nothing's open, so I guess I'll... I don't know if my deck is good enough to be in the 8 lobby. Ah, nice. See how the sounds go. Sounds good. And now we just wait. I think next week I will play the Lord of Pain. I do have a special announcement to make. I forgot to mention it before we started, but let's go to my studio and show this off. I think it's under here. Memberships. I now have a new member. Uncle Bobby B, Kermit the Frog, has been a member for 4 days now. You are my 4th member to join the ranks of the Colonel's crew. Thank you so much. In case you didn't know, if you want to support the channel in more of a monetary way, you can. I don't force that on anybody, but I have 4 tiers. It goes from junior enlisted, senior enlisted, junior officer, and senior officer. And I picked the lowest tiers that YouTube has to offer, and that's purely because I build decks on a budget, and it wouldn't feel right to ask for a lot of money if I'm building budget decks on here. So that is why it's that cheap. Hey, I'm playing against the Mothman. Against Tatyova and SRAM. SRAM might have a hard time against me because I have a lot of edict effects in this list and just straight up removal. This thing might never get off the floor. This is a decent hand. I wish I had more ramp, or stronger ramp, I should say, but we'll keep it. SRAM is normally a Voltron list, and it's one of the very few creatures they run. If it dies a handful of times, the deck doesn't function. I'll be curious how I play against the Mothman. I haven't played against one in a while. I have a buddy that plays it in paper. Unfortunately, I moved away, so I won't have the pleasure of playing against it for a while, but tonight is the night. And Tatyova is a bit of a boogeyman in the Simic world. All they do is draw cards off the lands. Turns out when you make a permanent replace itself and it represents a third of your deck, it's super powerful. Who would have thought? I'm really paranoid about the end step right before mine, especially in the early game, because I don't know how many times I somehow skip through my turn. So we're not gonna mess around with that. We're just gonna safely click things, and then once we leave our turn is when I'll hit the yield all, no possible play. Gotta empty the mana, I guess. Oh. We like seeing Hedron Crab. Hopefully, I think this targets. Yeah, so if he targets me, it's probably the most effective because I won't gain access to other people's cards. But we could get milled out. There's two. I mean, this guy on the right's a dedicated mill player. And the guy in the middle has little pieces like this in there. We might get milled out this game. That is also something that hasn't happened to me in a long time. I don't know. That's usually... You must play Moto a lot if you know that's how people behave. I don't know. It's usually pretty bad on Moto, where people scoop up when they fall behind in the early game. But it looks like everyone's having a nice, fair start. So I don't think anyone's going to be scooping anytime soon. Now, if someone had access to 4 mana on turn 1, I'm pretty sure we would have a bunch of people not here playing right now. I don't know these players personally, so I couldn't tell you. It's random. I like playing against randoms. Mostly because doing this channel solo, it makes it so I could edit things much nicer. There's less voices talking, and that keeps my videos nice and short. I also don't need to be concerned about like paying people I guess portions of the earnings. I just monetized the channel recently, but like I had the foresight to imagine what it's like to pay folks to be on the channel playing with me. As unfortunate as that is, not that I'm greedy, but like I never mix business with pleasure, and I feel like friendships could be lost when you introduce some kind of monetary element to anything. So that's more so so I could avoid hurting friendships. However, I will collaborate with my members if they ever ask me to make a video with them. That's part of the perks of being a member, is legally I'm required to do that, and I'd like to help them as best as I can. Sure. EDH on Moto, it's the only place you can do it, really. I mean, you could do it on Spell Table. I don't know if you've ever played Spell Table. I got some good ramp now. Get my War Power Stone down. It's kind of greedy. Maybe I should have killed this, but whatever. We're in a long haul. We'll be playing a long game. It will die eventually. Yeah, that's true. I still play a lot of games with friends that's not content related. I have a group of buddies I play Magic with, outside of just playing on the channel that I play Moto with, and then I haven't played much paper lately, mostly because my life has been busy. I now have a 9-to-5 job, which I'm not used to. I'm not as used to it. It's been a long time since I've worked a traditional job, and that sucks up a lot of my personal time. And then me and my wife, we do stuff with our kids on the weekend, and we haven't had a weekend together in like 2 years, so it's really important to her that we spend quality time with each other with the kids, and it's important to me too, don't get me wrong. Beforehand, I was working weekends, she was working in the work week, and then there was always someone home that watched the kids, but that just meant less time between us two, and that was probably not the best for a long-term thing. Even though we did it for 2 years, it's probably longer than we should have went. And that comes with expenses too. Like childcare is god awful expensive. I pay more for childcare than I do for my house. It's insane. Well, let me tap my mana down. Yeah, I make a lot of effort though. A lot of my friends and my family will tell you that I carve a good amount of time for them. I go out of my way and I go above and beyond for those people, and you should. If you want them around in your life, you have to. They'll give up on you. They'll stop asking you to do things. That, and like when my kids get older and they don't want anything to do with me, then I'll need some kind of structure to fall back on, and I don't want to start from scratch. That also is a good reason to maintain relationships. Like once you're out of college, you want to start from scratch as a middle-aged person, meeting friends when it's harder, or just maintain the ones you have. See, I'm at 7 mana. I'm a black short, so hopefully we'll find a swamp soon. Yeah, it's hard. Man, I'm quite fortunate that I'm playing with a mill deck, because that will definitely make my game plan a lot stronger. That's nice, yeah. I try to do stuff once a week with my family and friends. At least I have the weekends guaranteed. And they get 2 hours with me after I put my kids down to bed if they're up that late. Most of the time they're not, and then in that case, I'll edit my videos or watch some anime. How big is it? Oh god, he's huge already. My Defile is a lot worse. Huh. Yeah, I think I just play good old Eldest Reborn here. Unfortunately, Edict effects get weaker as the game goes on, so I might as well get some value out of it, and then I could reanimate something from someone. Oh. I'm surprised he gave up his SRAM over Cogsworth. I'm okay with him keeping Cogsworth, because cards is king. Whoops, did not mean to shrink you. Yeah, it's out of budget. Mind Crank's one of those cards that doubled or tripled in price because of the Mothman deck. I would run it though. Like, all the sweet mill cards that are probably in this list, I'd probably run on my own. They've all been expensive since the Fallout decks. Yeah, he wouldn't be bad for one. I think if you just transplanted the Sir Conrad list and just swap it with Valgavoth, you're probably in really good shape. Just from the start of scratch. Yeah, mostly artifacts. That is a pretty safe win condition. You're playing a little bit of RNG, but the likelihood of you hitting at least one thing between 3 opponents is really good. Now, that is a strategy that's kind of, you could get around it in a scummy way. Like, people could surrender in response to the point where there's just one opponent, and then the likelihood of bricking on a creature occurs, which I've seen happen on Moto a lot, where people do something scummy to surrender to dodge a game-ending trigger that would impact the whole board. Got some chat in here. I'll put the chat box up here. Missing all the talk over here. Yeah, it's not forgiving. Screw up, you have to live with your mistake. Which I kind of like. It makes you a more cognizant player. I don't like rewinding things when we're 2 turns past what had happened. There's just non-value time added to your day or to the game. Yeah. I do wonder if... Does this trigger on attack? Yeah. I might kill this on this end step. Yeah, I've tried playing Tabletop Simulator. Oh, the guy in the middle surrendered. There you go. We're just gonna grasp this. But now his mana is untapped, which messes with everything. Maybe I'll wait till he declares attack, see if he hits the guy on the left. But like, because he surrendered, priority wasn't passed to me. I would have killed this while his mana was tapped. And now his mana is untapped and he could have a counter spell in his hand. So I'm particularly annoyed that I have to play with the risk of him interacting with me. Yes, it's because there's no social aspect in online. You know what I mean? I can't look someone in the eye and like hold them accountable for their behavior. I can't lecture them for being a douchebag like I do in person. I'm a very confrontational and direct individual when it comes to bad behavior. Alright, see if he can counter it. If he counters it, I blame the guy in the middle. Alright. Yeah, more unfiltered. It's like Reddit. I met some cool people on Reddit, though. I'm not gonna knock on Reddit too bad, but like, you definitely get the truth from people. The very harsh truth. Yeah, I don't know about more good than bad. Probably more bad than good. Be the more accurate way of putting it. Well, I got another black sword. This wasn't a land. I have to pay for it, but whatever. I will gladly accept. Does this give ward? Oh man, Godsword's pretty sick. He's milled a bunch of cards. Maybe I could animate something scary with my final tick of Eldest. The only thing in here that's kind of cool is Marcus. Which is a bummer. This happens on cast. I could just piss everyone off today. His commander will cost him at least 6 if he recasts it. He will be 1 mana short unless he has a mana in hand. Huh. maybe I could get away with Soul Shatter on the guy on the right's end step. Hopefully this guy on the left doesn't play a creature. If he gets a few cards, that's okay. But I guess if I kill this now, he doesn't have enough mana to recast him and draw. That could really mess him up. Yeah, let's be an a-hole. Keep the board empty. And I still have mana actually for Soul Shatter, so. Oh, you know what? I forgot that Nowhere to Run ignores ward abilities. It's the first time I ever played it, I could just kill Saram and let him keep his Codsworth. And then save my Soul Shatter to maybe scoop up Codsworth plus whatever the guy on the right plays. And I'd still have Defile left in my hand. Although my Defile was looking pretty rough, I only have 2 swamps in play. A little bit of a blunder on my part. But I denied the card advantage piece. There we go. Yeah, my bad, man. If you go to my description below for this list, you can go to a Moxfield link, and then in the description or at the bottom of my Moxfield, just link it there, and I'll find your deck that way. Ooh, I'm 1 land away from getting my commander down. We can start having some fun stealing people's stuff. I guess I already get to steal something cool with my Eldest Reborn. Thanks, man. I'll take a look at it. I'm assuming you're a man, my bad. Thank you. Although, my YouTube analytics has told me that my female viewership is literally 0%, so I don't know if that will change anytime soon, but you never know. Come on, land. We'll take it. Throw on Dynamo. Ooh, I could throw it on Geogolem. We'll do Marcus though. It's a card advantage piece, makes my stuff bigger. It's just fun. Geogolem's kind of boring. I guess I have War Room. I can draw. It's not a total loss. Ooh, Lens. But, again, only 2 swamps, so that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, I'd rather have my mana up for interacting at instant speed. Oh, Font of Agonies went to my graveyard. That would have been the tits. At some point I lost Necro Dominance too. Is this a vehicle deck? Now I feel bad for picking on this guy a little bit. Thought this was going to be an equipment list. Definitely chose to play the hard mode over there. The only crux of my game plan is counter magic, which this guy on the right can definitely be playing. Killing this is not a big deal because it makes people sack 3 things, and it just lets me bounce back into the game, but they counter it on the stack. That's a pretty brutal time walk. And obviously I'm telegraphing that I have enough mana to cast it next turn. Lily Bowen. Oh, nice. Double the counters from Branching Evolution. Doesn't this just die next turn? Because it gets doubled on his upkeep, and then that gets doubled because of Branching Evolution. So 8 plus, no, it'll be at 12 power next turn. We're gonna Soul Shatter now, though. We're not gonna deal with that. Well, he doesn't have counter magic. He would have dealt with that. The good old control list is coming through. Unfortunately, I don't have any removal pieces. Oh, Mandated Abaddon. Okay. That is a removal piece. Ooh, I do not want to concede. That is not what I want to do. Alright. Do it like that. And black. Boys down. Another tip for playing theft decks is you shouldn't steal too much from an individual person, and that's because if they surrender, all the perms you've stolen goes up in smoke, and then you'll be left with nothing to deal with whoever's left over. So you gotta take a little bit from everybody. Oh, this thing has vigilance too? That's sick. And I've prevented this guy from drawing a lot of cards. Doesn't roll off the tongue. Nowhere to run. That must be a new card from. Oh wait, that's the new enchantment that I was talking about, where everything loses Warden Hexproof. It is a sick removal piece. I love this card. It's just a static effect at instant speed. It's probably a little too pushed, if you ask me. And this guy has all the +1/+1 counter shenanigans going on. If he plays Mothman, he... Oh, casualties of war. Although I make him sack 3 permanents and I get a bunch of free stuff. Things get a lot more expensive for me though. I guess this is a fair trade. Blew up 4 of my permanents and he lost 4 cards, so it's a 4-for-4 trade. Time to rebuild. Hopefully I find a swamp here. I want this Explanar lens to do something too. Hey, ask and you shall receive. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm 1 short. Unless I find another swamp and my Arcana Revenant survives. It's probably a couple of big ifs. What's kind of cool is I could pump my Arcana Revenant and then cast Mandate of Abaddon to sweep up everyone else's stuff but my own, because I think of the biggest creatures in play right now. It'd be an effective one-sided board wipe. I wonder what's going on with the SRAM player. 4 cards in hand, a bunch of mana at their disposal, but elected to do nothing. Probably have some instant speed shenanigans. It's kind of funny in this scenario is he needs to play another permanent and have a card in hand that can remove my commander in order for him to kill it. It would have to be exclusively the guy on the left's job. Darn, it's a swamp. I'm 1 darn mana short. Guess I could do the lens. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. Does this have Death Touch? No. We'll force in the block. Not blocking. Well, you're going to be very low. Ooh, Twilight Prophet's pretty sick. We're just gonna fire this Mandate off, see if this white player's got anything. So I'm pretty sure I've neutered the guy on the right pretty badly. And if this resolves, I'll probably be enough to mess up the guy on the left too. Yeah, immaculate poker face, that's true. Yeah. I can tell by what people are thinking based by their timers and the lack of like timely response. That's how I can measure people's frustration for sure. It's very tongue-in-cheek. Interesting. Well, that explains why I didn't do anything in this last turn. I might have played against this guy before. I've run into a slew of mono white decks that only play at instant speed, and this would be the third one, and I wonder if this is the same guy from each time. In every single one of those games I have on recording, and the two previous times I lost to those mono white decks. Sure. What he could do... Oh, they both have crew 3. Never mind. Potato farmer. Can I make these bigger? No. A little too slow. Every time there's a major update, it resets a lot of my settings, like the sound and the board design. And I wonder if I could... No. However, this is a triggered ability and it probably doesn't need to get any bigger, but I might be able to manipulate the other, like the card image while it's on the stack. Ooh, you want to proliferate my Marcus and my Nirkana Revenant? I might let this guy live a little bit longer so I could keep his permanent for longer. That'd be funny. Oh, he's proliferating the Liberator, and now it can actually pilot these. Pretty slick. Finding a comrade in arms. Zero cards in his hand. Wasting clock time. This feels like a salty scoop after just hooking up the guy on the left. Although that makes my decisions a lot easier. I could just devote all my time and resources to the guy on the left instead of flanking him off. Oh, alright. He's a gentleman. He's just waiting to the max amount of time to waste everyone's time, I guess. People do that. There's like a minute or 2 minute warning that pops up in your left corner if you've been AFK too long, and if you press something or do any action, it resets the counter. It's like roping in Arena. Six. 9. Yeah. 12. We play our commander. We're here to play commander. Yeah. That's fine. I don't think I'll use my removal on the guy on the left because this guy's on the brink of just quitting any moment now. Ooh, I should have played this guy's Mind Crank first. Thundersteel Colossus. That's a big dude. Well, he has a crew too as well. A little scary. He should have crewed something here because now I get a free whack in on this guy on the left. He might surrender to deny my card draw. Yeah, he's saying GG. I think he's going to surrender so he can deny me 2 cards here. Nope. Not yet. More ramp, we like that. Oh yeah, I can cast this stuff at instant speed. Oh man, I forgot that I pay life for this stuff. I should have played this Mind Crank, milled him a bunch of cards, and got to see more stuff. This is what happens when you play with a brand new everything. But this is how you learn too. Oh, what? I should have access to these. Why don't I? Maybe these are associated with identity? Because I guess this is a new Valgavoth. I don't have access to these. It's kind of weird. I wonder if that's a bug. Or if that's something I just didn't think of. I thought I permanently have access to these cards. The guy on the right's surprised I let him live, but I let him live because I see cards because of him. He also mills people for me. He is more useful to me alive than dead, and he's kind of helping my game plan. And he could die to his own stupid rad triggers. I don't even have to do anything. And he's stuck with one card in hand. Yeah, I should have access to this stuff. Not at instant speed, but proliferate. Huh. Hopefully it makes me mill a non-land so I can get this rad counter off me. So you can't proliferate the rad counters. Darn. I wasn't lucky. So now I do have access to this stuff. I'm gonna play the swamp. I want some life. I think we'll just finish the guy off on the right here. Be done with it. Cast multiple spells. Boom shakalaka. Get to draw 3. Get some life back. Actually, I drew 4. I don't know how I drew that many. Get a swap down. Hey, game over. Hey, I finally won a game playing mono black. I don't remember the last time I've done that. Traditional control lists still do the job. That was the list. I hope you all enjoyed. It was a short recording. Let's see how long we've been going on for. Can't tell from this. An hour and a half, not bad. Like calling it early, having a nice night. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you guys next week. I'll be playing the the Lord of Pain, I think it's called. Let's go back to my channel here. Yeah, Lord of Pain. So, the group slug deck. And then at some point, I'm going to wedge in a special request from my new member, B. They requested that I build the Sergeant or the commander from... What's it called? Doctor Who set? I don't remember his name, but... He distinctly, it's a green-white commander, and he wanted it to be like a surprise, like when you draw, I draw, but I pump him up so big that you die and you don't get to play the cards you draw. So he wants to lure people in with like a deal and then just stomp people with it. I like those kinds of deck ideas because I'm a pretty malicious dude, I think. I just want to look his name up. I just don't remember. I remember everything else about him, but I don't remember his name. Doctor Who, or is it Universe Beyond Doctor Who? I think it is. Yeah, okay. Should pull it up. Sergeant John Benton. Trample and haste, 2/4. Whenever he deals damage to a player, you and that player each draw that many cards. So, The idea is I play everything at instant flash speed, and I pump them up so much. Like you say, let's draw some cards. Would you like to accept that deal? And they let them make contact, and then before you do, you just flash in a bunch of equipment or pump them up with berserk effects and alpha strike people to death and draw a fat grip of cards. And then you deny the person on your right from seeing those cards. There's also a couple of ways you could get around this with things like Alms Collector. You could flash in Alms Collector, you draw, like your 30 cards, and your opponent only gets to draw one. Those are some like my first thoughts I had. I look forward to building this. Unfortunately, I can't feature it in a game because Doctor Who isn't on Moto, but I might get on Spell Table and play it that way because I do own this card, and that could be a way that I could feature it on the channel gameplay wise. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you look forward to the future, and everyone take care. Have a good night. Bye.